Hey guys, I'm going to show you an insanely powerful method for doing damage to enemies, and this is the most damage I've ever seen in this game. This gets you up into the hundreds of millions and more depending on how patient you are. I got up into the 250 million damage range, which is way overkill. You don't need that much. And in this gameplay footage here, I went in with 150 million damage and was able to take out Wotan in 30 seconds. And the entire mission was super easy. I just walked right through it basically. And obviously this is going to be useful against all bosses. I'll show you how fast you can kill Grave Ward. Now this is on Mayhem mode 4 and he dies so fast you don't even see his health bar go down. Same with Troy, walked right in Mayhem mode 4 and just absolutely destroyed him. And this works with all characters. You don't have to be a specific character to deal this amount of damage. There are two things you're going to need for this to be able to just do millions and millions of damage, and one of them is the Brawler Ward shield that you get from Grave Ward. So there used to be a glitch that you could do with this shield that's now been patched, but there is now an after patch to this that makes it even more powerful. From what I understand, the previous glitch would only allow you to get up to a certain amount of damage and it would stop multiplying and duplicating the damage, but with this method it doesn't stop. You can go on forever. I don't know where it caps off because it might take forever to figure that out. There's two things we're going to be working with here for this shield, and it says down at the bottom plus 25% weapon damage while shield is depleted, and then plus 300% melee damage while shield is depleted. Again, depleting the shield originally would stack these numbers and they patched that, but there is an after patch on how to stack these numbers unlimited. What we're going to be focusing on is the 300% plus melee damage while shield is depleted, and most people know by now that the face puncher when shot and used against enemies is considered a melee attack. So the face puncher that I have does 14 times 121 damage, which is a ton when you start stacking 300% over and over again on top of that. And these are the only two things you need, the ward shield and the face puncher, and that's what makes it available for any character. Now there's going to be specific builds that add on to this and make it better, and I'll show you guys a build that I use to get through the Maliwan Takedown and just melt Wotan. Before we get started, I want to give a massive shout out to By Gamers for Gamers. They emailed me letting me know that they had discovered something really interesting while they were trying to get to this Crimson radio tower and they kept falling off of this pipe. They were equipped with a shield that gave them plus 17% running speed every time the shield was depleted, and when they were trying to get to this radio tower they kept falling off and dying, and they noticed that every time they came back they were running a little bit faster, and then over time of falling into the abyss and respawning at this new U station they were starting to run incredibly fast, and it was pretty obvious that that bonus speed was stacking. So they messaged me about this. They made a great video on it. I'll have their YouTube channel linked down in the description. So after that email I wanted to go in and check it out, and it only made sense that if there were any shield that when depleted gave you a bonus, that this method might work with it. So we tried it on the Brawler Ward shield to see, yeah, could you start stacking this damage and melee damage? And yes, you can. And all you have to do is equip the shield and then die into an abyss or die and bleed out and then respawn, and keep doing that over and over again. Every time you respawn you get another 300% melee damage and another 25% weapon damage. So you're going to need to die a lot, and you want to find a new U station that's close to an area where you can just jump off into the abyss, or find a way to down yourself really quickly so you can get through this fast. BG4G, the founders of this, recommended this area here on the anvil, and I do like it because you can quickly jump off right there over that edge, and then the new U station's very close by. There might be some locations around other maps that are a lot faster, but this one worked pretty good. Also, this is going to cost you a lot of money when you die and respawn, and when you get down to no money, don't worry about it. You can just keep going. You're just going to be broke. To get up into the multiples of millions, I had to spend $100 million, so definitely expect, again, to go broke. I'll show you guys a breakdown of how many deaths you need to reach a certain amount of damage with the face puncher, and then there's a great way to check it when you go onto Sanctuary with the new target. You can see Handsome Jack in the target area. So I've got the face puncher out here. I have died a whole lot, and I'm getting around 26 to 28 million per shot, which is way overkill for most bosses, even on Mayhem mode 4. I tested it out, and for Grave Ward on Mayhem mode 4, to one-shot him and just evaporate him, you need to do 18 million damage, and that's just dropping in and blindly firing and not even going for critical hits. I noticed that I had to do multiple shots if I was doing less than 18 million damage. So to give you an idea of what it takes to build up your face puncher where it will do 18 million damage, here's a chart right here. So when you first start out, you'll have 1 to 10 deaths, and that will range from 10,000 and then get you built up to around 173,000 damage on your 10th death. Then around 30 deaths, you can expect to get into the millions, and then 50 deaths, 2 millions. Then when you get around 100 deaths, you'll have 14 million, and then to hit that 18 million mark, you gotta have 110 deaths. So this gives you an idea of how many deaths you're gonna need based on how much damage you wanna do and what you plan on doing in the game. If you wanna go fight a bunch of bosses or just go to like the Takedown at Maliwan Site. I wanted to see how much damage I could accumulate, so I went well above this. Right here, you can see I was doing in the 40 millions. And then right here, I got up into the 150 millions. And this is where I went to the Takedown at Maliwan Site and just melted everything and then killed Wotan in less than 30 seconds. I don't think this much damage is necessary, but I haven't quite calculated what it does take. This is like over 300 deaths, so you know that's a lot for most people. I don't think people would really want to do that. So I'll show you guys the loadout that I have put together for the Takedown at Maliwan, and there's something really important to know about this glitch, that if you go into a fight and your shield gets depleted all the way and you don't bleed out, then you lose all of those stacked damage multipliers. So the idea behind this build is to make a shield that is super powerful and regenerates really fast so that I can just walk in there and feel pretty much invincible. This is going to be using MOZE, and a huge shout out to Honda Riders. We worked on this and he helped me put this build together. And the first thing that I have on that I'll show you guys is this artifact here. It's deathless, and you can have, I guess, pretty much any prefix. This is going to give you plus 100% shield capacity, a plus 25% shield recharge rate, and then a minus 20% shield recharge delay. I was able to find one that regenerates health at plus 149 per second, which helps with another part of the build, and it works with this class mod right here, the Bloodletter. So if she's being healed, then she's going to gain shields instead, and if she's regenerating health, then she's also going to gain shield regeneration. This also gives 150% plus shield delay, so that helps. And then I found one that has plus 250 shield capacity, so that's even better. As far as the skill trees, we focus mostly on the red skill tree, Shield of Retribution. There's a bunch of options here that make the shield a lot better, so you can see the selections here. I'm not going to go through everything. If you just copy this, it will work great. Or just pay attention to what you're selecting, and if it's helping you with your shield, then go for it. There is zero focus on the Iron Bear for this build. It's absolutely not needed. You're so powerful and almost invincible. My shield got up to like 86,000, so at that point, yeah, you're not going to go down. Also with this build, the regeneration rate of the shield is insanely fast, so that's another thing that's going to help. So you can see with this loadout, it will give you 1 health and then a huge shield, so that's what you want. And with this face puncher, this thing has an incredible amount of range. I was one-shotting everything, obviously, with the amount of damage I'm doing, but the reach of this gun I was really impressed with. I was able to aim in and target and reach any enemy across the map that was within sight. Now my face puncher has the capability of doing 150 million damage, but for some reason when I was shooting the enemies, it was doing a lot less, like 11 million there, 9 million with that guy. I'm not sure why that is, but I was still able to one-shot everything, and if I were to go back to the target practice, it would still show 150 million. But if you guys want to keep watching, I'll show you guys some of the highlights from my playthrough at Maliwan, and when I got to the Valkyrie squad, they were just melted before I even walked in the door. It was hilarious. It took me about, I don't know, 15 minutes to get through this. I was being really careful though, because I was trying to stay back and not rush into the enemies too fast, but I probably could have done this a lot quicker. But I think I've covered everything. Let me know what you guys think about this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next video.